We can take a look at this while I play Elden Ring poorly. Oh god, it's gonna be a reply of a reply. Oh gosh, damn it. The person responding to this is a person named Conure, who's kind of a weirdo, and the video is a video by Paxtube. Oh boy, oh boy.
In personality traits.
No, they're not. If you're gonna use this as an example, you like this anime character because she appears weak. She appears demure. She appears at the mercy of the man that was currently talking to her in that way.
Christ, those jump cuts. Holy f.
Because she looks more likely to submit to your will. That is what you like about it, and that is a massive, massive example of the fetishization and sexualization of femininity that is completely negative. So this...
Lol? What if you just like your women submissive? I don't know what to tell you, dude. Some people like their mommy's dommy. I don't know what to tell you. Like, who cares? Lol.
YouTube channel was brought to my attention by a chatter vertical square when I was desperately looking for content. So we were given why people like anime girls by Paxtube. You know, on its face, this doesn't seem like a very political video. I've never seen it, so I don't actually know if it is. However, if we dig a little deeper into the Paxtube, we've got...
Oh my god, the fucking... Please subscribe to my channel shit. Ugh. This delivery is just fucking really rough to listen to, too. This person is man, not the best. Not the best. I'm already hearing some red flags of a person who thinks they're a lot smarter than they actually are.
The dark side of VTubers, and you can go any way with that. There's some ways you can go about that that isn't weird, right? But then we dig a little further, we see Attack on Titan's racial themes explored. Now, like I say, who knows which direction we go? Some people were saying...
There's some interesting aspects of it, especially with the end. The end, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the end.
That Attack on Titan was fascist propaganda. Other people were saying it was actually anti-fascist propaganda. But then we keep going. So we've got abortion rebuttal, debunk.
This, like, intro is just fucking cancer.
Pro-choice propaganda from ASAP Science. We've got the 2020 American race riots explained. And if you're gonna call them race riots, you kind of just gave the game away. Like, we already know what side of the fence you're falling on here. We've also got how pornography destroys your...
Well, I mean, they are riots and they are around the aspects of race, so, you know.
Mind, which is interesting as well. So I thought, given all of this context after being given this video, we would watch the most important one that I can see, why people like anime girls, because I'm intensely curious. You know, I happen to find some anime aesthetic interesting. I like how it looks. You've got JoJo's...
Yeah, we get it. You jack off to anime, fam. Like, no shit. Yeah, the jump cuts are really rough.
Bizarre Adventure, which is the art style, which is pretty cool. That's people seem to appreciate. There's some feminine men. There's some masculine men. There's some feminine masculine men. It's a good take. We got Mob Psycho 100, which has a super cool and unique aesthetic. Mob isn't an anime girl, you know, but I bring it up to say that anime has a variety of different art styles, but there's a lot of variety out there, and I, as an artist...
I would say, like, the female characters in Mob Psycho, like Tsubome, are, like, extremely moe-styled.
Really appreciate the art. Let's get into the video. Why people like anime girls by this assumed right-winger. I'm sure we'll have exceptionally good takes here.
This is an anime girl.
Are you sure about that? How do we know it's not a boy? Already bad vibes. I'd say anime person. Gender not.
It's Makase Kriyasu. Like, it's a girl, retard. You could have shown the Shrine Maiden. It's like, this is an anime boy.
Unspecific, if we really wanted to be progressive. That's how you know they're a Nazi. Right off the bat. I'm just kidding. I don't know if they're a Nazi, but I mean, we're treading close given the video. That's
a bit of a red flag.
Videos that they've made. Anyway.
Average observer, this may look like just another animated character. But what if I told you that characters like this have been reaching international popularity?
No way!
Whether you're from Japan or not, the odds are that you yourself have seen someone online using an anime girl as an avatar.
That's crazy.
In this video on Paxtube, we're here to find...
By the way, I don't know what...
Wow, it's like I'm watching a fucking Hassan video. Holy shit. Fam, like, you know, you don't have to if you don't have anything substantial to say, you don't actually have to add something. You can just kind of shut the hell up.
We're about to get into here, but I will say that we do need a complete and total shutdown on anime avatars on social media until we can figure out what's going on, because there's a lot of sus shit going on out there, and it's all hidden behind the veil of an anime avatar, and frankly, I've had enough. So we might agree on that, but...
Find out why these characters are so well liked. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about anime. Specifically, the anime and manga industry produced by Japan. This art industry has become very popular around the world, especially on the internet. Unlike Western animation, which typically gears itself toward children, the anime industry targets a wide variety of age demographics. Thus, you'll find fans who are adults and teenagers alike.
Which is based, by the way, because Western animation is essentially kind of a lost opportunity a lot of the time, in that there's a lot of different things you can do in animation. It's quite literally the medium of moving pictures that you can be...
Wow, what a fucking say-nothing take. Oh my goodness. You could literally do anything with animation. This take is also kind of brain-dead, given the standout hit of last year was Arcane.
The most creative in. There are literally no limits to what you can do so long as you can deliver what you're trying to do through a drawing. If you have live action films, you can use CG, you can use, you know, practical effects, you can use post-production effects, green screens, all this kind of thing. A lot of the time, unless you have a massive budget, you're not going to be able to produce stuff that isn't like kind of uncanny.
Quality animation also requires a large budget, my dude.
Or easily seen as being not actually part of the world. There's a lot of really weird CG that just doesn't really hit the mark in the way that you would want it to in a lot of live action. But animation doesn't have that kind of limitation, because as long as you can draw it, the world is your oyster. You've got no limits at all. And because of that, the fact that we got Family Guy, American Dad, Big Mouth, Bob's Burgers, there are some decent adult-themed cartoons and Western animations, The Simpsons, yeah, out there, but there's a lot of cookie-cutter stuff. I think the reason for that is because a lot of Western animation...
This is also patently not true. You're not looking in the right places. It's not as prolific as in Japan, but there are, like, plenty of adult animation out there that is, like, of really high quality. Off the top of my head, I could say Arcane, Last Man, Venture Brothers, I would say maybe Smiling Friends, especially with comedy. Smiling Friends actually does something with the medium. Invincible is pretty good. Yeah, exactly.
Simply is just profit-driven money grab kind of operation. But for Japan, it seems like there's just a broader culture of respect.
Nibba! Nibba! No, 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 no. Holy shit. Wrong. Wrongo. The animation industry in Japan is 100% commercialized. Are you fucking retarded? BD cells are the #1 driver of whether or not it gets, like, more production. What an absolutely retarded thing to say. Holy shit.
Acting, drawing, painting, animation as a skill to be respected and heralded. There's more of a culture of people putting more of their time and labor into developing a higher fidelity art style with more opportunity to deliver incredibly moving, interesting, engaging visual experiences. That just doesn't exist in the West. Now, I hope that the West gets there, and there is a good amount of Western animation that does try to meet the mark, but we just started too late. It seems like we haven't caught up to respecting the medium like Japan has, or other places that produce similar levels of quality in their animation do. And that's a shame, but that's just how it is.
In recent years, Western companies...
I love how they, like, circle back around to, like, really fucking shitty, like, unironic weeaboo takes of, like, most superior Japanese animation, but, like, was trying to do some sort of, like, capitalist critique with it, and it's just so fucking retarded.
...have even attempted live-action adaptations of anime. With not much success.
Yeah, imagine my shock. And the reason why there's not much success is because of everything I just talked about. Because animation, the only limit is your imagination and the amount of
the Death Note, one of the examples that he had was the Death Note live action film, which I think got positive reviews in terms of like the critical thing. I again stand by my previous statement that I've said before, and I'll say it forever. I actually like the ending of the Japanese live action Death Note film series as opposed to the anime and the manga. I think that it gives a way for L to win in a way that really cuts down on some of the convoluted shit that we would get after he dies.
Of labor and time you're willing to put into producing the art. When you try to translate a lot of the bombastic, over-the-top parts of animation that make anime very unique, and you try to translate it into a more limited format.
By the way, if you want a video about the absolute shit state of American animation, watch like any of Easy Peasy's videos on the subject. They're really good, and it's really depressing.
Of live action, you're gonna be met with varying levels of quality that will almost never meet the same standard of the anime, and as we see here, usually fall devastatingly short, almost disrespectfully so.
But the rise of popularity of...
Also, the amount of fidelity and, like, animation budget that goes into a work isn't necessarily, like, equating to its success. Like, the big example that I would go to is High Guardian Spice had, like, a shit ton of money thrown at it, and it's fucking mediocre. Whereas, like, Kimono Friends had absolutely zero budget, but got, like, really popular. It's the thing of, if you have something interesting, and you have the means in which to tell it, amazingly, you will have success.
Of anime in the West is worthy of investigation, and it leads us to some telling conclusions.
Some telling conclusions. Let's see.
A key factor that stands out in anime's success is its female characters, who garner fan bases in and of themselves.
Now, this is true. There is also a substantial fan base of women, of men, gay men in specific, if we're about to talk about these.
Not nearly as prolific as the people who waifu post, fam. Like, Cope and Seethe and Sneed. It's not nearly as popular. Like, the yaoi fujoshi bait is not nearly as popular as the anime booby girls.
Sexualization of these characters, but obviously not to the same degree. Femininity, in a general sense, is fetishized, and there's a lot of negative aspects that come along with that.
Based. Femininity is based. Let's go. We love our feminine women.
Women have been fighting this fight. Feminists have been fighting this fight since the dawn of time, since they're the primary demographic to exhibit femininity. Now that men, non-binary people, are more accepted in society, not fully, and there's still a lot of negatives that come with that, for being more feminine, we're still subject to that fetishization. So really, if we want to solve a lot of these issues,
are you though? Are you though? It's a little bit of double think there, fam.
We work to defetishize femininity in a general sense because it helps literally everybody. Anybody can be feminine. It is not relegated to women.
Grape
so
coon.
if we help the defetishization of femininity, we help everybody. But I don't know if this person really wants to do that. We'll see.
The term waifu, a variation of the word wife, is used commonly in anime circles to refer to one's favorite female character.
This is odd. I will only ever use the term waifu ironically. I don't know that it's necessarily like super bad to like have such a connection to a fictional character that you like refer to them in this way, have like figurines and, you know, the body pillows and whatnot. But there are certainly ways that can manifest that can be damaging to one's emotional state, to one's mental state, and even have impacts in their lives if you become super obsessive about these kinds of things. But in a general sense, I don't know how bad it is. The fringe cases are the ones you have to worry about.
It's become obvious at this point that anime girls have a special charm that viewers in the West are picking up on.
People like feminine and cute things. It's been known to happen.
Now, the most common explanation of why anime girls are popular is that they're cute.
True.
And that's very true. These characters are professionally designed to be feminine and attractive.
The reason why people like anime women is because they're drawn like women, not like men.
Because they are drawn like women and not like men.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. There is like a inherent, especially if the moe shit, because I think Paxtube is going to be going into moe shit. Yeah, no one likes 3D
There are entire
PDs.
animation methods devoted to their styles.
Yeah, I use side.
The physical traits that are highlighted in anime include flowing hair, large and detailed eyes, and slim or curvaceous bodies.
Not always, though. It is certainly the case that anime will select for this, but that's because society in a general sense selects for these aspects. There are a lot of people out there that will see feminine people that don't meet these characteristics and malign them, disparage them, think of them as less than. There's an entire internalized misogyny and internalized fetishization of femininity that feminine people have to deal with because of how much this is.
It strikes me as a person who fits the mold of being, like, overeducated. I think it's a little bit more simple than that, my fam. People like cute, sexy anime girls.
Propagated in our society. And the work of feminism is to undo this, in part. So if this is a problem for you, then you should probably look into feminism for maybe some constructive ways to help address it.
These features are highlighted because they're widely accepted as beautiful.
I like what they just said right there. It kind of gives an insight into, like, this sort of aspect of how these quote-unquote political commentators work. They'll highlight a problem, but they won't actually give an actual solution. They said you should look into feminism for solutions on that. It doesn't really actually, like, go into detail of how feminism would actually address this issue that they're talking about. Just sort of alludes to it as, like, some sort of magic spell. Be very careful about these sorts of people. They're generally full of shit.
Some might argue that beauty is subjective.
It is.
But let's face it, they're ultimately physical traits that people are biologically wired to be attracted to.
Seems to be
true. They're like symmetrical faces, obviously. There's probably like a genetic predisposition to being attracted to wider hips, you know, obviously because of, you know, the ability to bear children. Go figure, right?
Those creating anime do not try to obscure this. It should also be noted that these female designs go hand in hand with clothing that accentuates their feminine features, such as ribbons, bows, or other hair accessories.
And the big
yeah, that is true. Generally in Japanese media, women will generally wear, like, traditionally feminine clothes.
reason for this, by the way, is because, like I say before, animation, literally the only limit is your imagination and ability to produce what you want to see, right? Because we're animating, we can accentuate the features to have
this is like sort of a this is sort of a layman's understanding of animation. Animation techniques are like constantly evolving. The ability to actually do things is changing like throughout time. So it's not really true. There's a reason why like if you guys have ever watched anime before, generally you'll notice that a lot of cars are always 3D animated. The reason for this is it is notoriously difficult to draw cars transitioning from like one direction to another in the same frame. So if you want to show cars moving anywhere other than like straight lines on a straight plane, it's notoriously difficult for them to actually do that. At least convincingly.
Massive eyes, big heads, no nose, small mouths, whatever type body you want, you can literally just make whatever you want. There are people that turn, like, planes into sexy anthropomorphized beings in art, for instance.
Ugh. Those people are fucking weird, dude. The people who draw, like, dragons having sex with cars, those people are fucking weird, dude.
Like, there's a whole world of stuff you can do. There's a lot of crazy shit out there. And obviously, if you're in a format, not in, like, the sexy plain way, but, like, the standard, you know, making a pretty woman in an anime, you're gonna take some liberties artistically to make these people look a certain way. And this is the same for even live action. A lot of makeup and practical effects will be used to accentuate these features as well in live action media. The problem is not unique to anime, the fetishization of femininity. It's not even unique to media. It's a thing that people in their real lives have to deal with as well. That's why people wear makeup. Not only because it makes them look good, but because they understand that other people will think it looks good as well. And there are positives and negatives to that as well.
Now, of course, anime does...
That's not really an aspect of fetishization of femininity. I think... Like, again, this person is an extremely overeducated type person. They'll like allude to things that aren't really applicable to the situation at hand as a means in which to already convey authority on the subject, which they probably don't actually have.
Doesn't exist in a vacuum. So to understand its ascendancy in the West, we also need to look at what's going on in Western media. In Western media, by contrast, there's been efforts to reduce character designs that even differentiate between men and women. Which
is kind of cool, considering the absolute wealth of super accentuated feminine characters. The fact that we have gender non-conforming characters, pretty cool in my opinion. That kind of representation,
not what he said.
Very helpful for people to feel good about themselves, see themselves in media when they may not otherwise, and helps to de-fetishize femininity in the public eye. It's a good thing.
Like this to the fat acceptance and androgynous movements. But truthfully, these two movements are simply two branches of the entire source. That source is feminism.
Oh boy. I think we're gonna miss the forest for the trees on this video, my friends. But let's see. I
mean, like, let's be fair. Could probably apply to a lot of your critiques so far.
I've been having a lot of assumptions, and, you know, if I'm wrong about a lot of these assumptions, then that's my bad. I'll take the L on that. It's just the videos I'm...
There is absolutely zero chance that this person did not pre-watch this video and already come up with talking points. This person is displaying some very shifty tactics when it comes to doing responses to things. It's as if, oh, it's as if I predicted this all along. It's like I didn't watch the video beforehand. I try to pre-watch videos, but sometimes I don't, and I try not to pass off insights as predictions if I don't actually have grounds to do so. It just comes off as lazy.
Seeing here in the other videos that this person has made leads me to make these assumptions. I'm happy to be proven wrong. We'll see.
Which has come to utterly dominate Western media.
Okay.
Hollywood and television studios consistently identify more as feminist and liberal than the general public.
Okay.
This is then reflected in their portrayals of women. In a great irony, feminism rejects the value of femininity and works instead as a conduit to make females masculine.
Isn't this what you just, like, portrayed as a good thing? What is this, like, what is this shocking face thing? You literally were saying that was a good thing, like, 2 seconds ago when you were agreeing with them. This is what passes as entertainment for people. Holy shit. By the way, I've already cracked open one alcoholic beverage, and I'm an extreme lightweight, so, things are only gonna get more, loopy from here. Buckle in, kids. Alcoholic beverage number 2.
Femininity equals women, women equals femininity. That's the grug take we're getting here. If your argument is that feminism is actively working as a conduit to make women more masculine, and because of that you think that makes women suffer in some way, you've got it backward, my friend. Feminism is about the liberation of women and the equality for women on par with...
This is the real Greg Brain take. Whenever you hear the people who are supporting, like, Antifa people, like, going around and just, like, randomly assaulting people, it's like, well, we're anti-bad things. It's in the name. It's just like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna name myself the anti-pedophile brigade, and I don't like you. What does that make you? Uh-oh! See how dishonest that is? It's really fucking lame. The referencing what a thing states that its goal is to do as the justification of why everything it does is good is, like, how a child thinks.
With men who are the hegemonic power holders of society. Limiting women to only strict feminine representation is limiting women's ability to exercise their individual liberty. If you are pro-personal freedom, representation in media for people being gender non-conforming is a pro-liberty thing to do. It is a pro...
What if that same thing then suddenly, like, demonizes women being feminine? What, like, as his thing is saying, is that a personal liberty? That's such a fucking retarded take.
Pro-liberty argument. I don't see how we're painting this like a bad thing. Unless you think that women have to be feminine and the media portrayal of them as masculine is negative because it makes, you know, women think that femininity is bad or whatever, which I don't think is actually true. I don't think any woman out there will see a masculine representation of a woman and be like, oh, I'm not supposed to be feminine, I'm supposed to be masculine instead. Like, nobody's thinking this.
Biological differences between the sexes are seen as a conduit. In a great irony, feminism rejects the value of femininity and works instead as a conduit to make females masculine.
By the way, it doesn't reject the value of femininity. It stops the value of femininity.
I would say that it actually does. It's that tried and true criticism of the smart and capable girl boss mother in sitcoms and the bumbling incompetent dad. You know what I mean? People have made this this observation before.
Being overvalued when it comes to women and their ability to express their personal liberty. Currently in society, women are expected to be very feminine, which in a lot of cases limits their personal freedom to do what they want, to be how they want, to look how they want. So feminism is attempting to make femininity equal.
You see, like, a lot of these things are true just because I say that they're true. I think I first saw this in, like, Destiny's argument with Medicare, because I think this person's a Vaush clone, so third generation of clones kind of leads to abnormalities and genetic defects. Poor abominations.
Equal to masculinity in regards to how women are allowed to express themselves, which gives women more liberty to be the people they want to be without any kind of scrutiny. That is a pro-liberty argument. That is a feminist argument.
Christ, you just said that like 3 minutes ago. Why are you repeating yourself? Holy shit.
But obviously, it seems like this person does not understand this, and I think we're about to get into why.
Why?
The Vice President of these United States is a female. How are they not in control? I'm pretty sure you're trolling. I'm pretty sure you're trolling. But if you're not trolling, then I'm sorry to hear that.
Differences between the sexes are seen not as something to be celebrated.
I like how you don't address what the person is saying. You just, a smuckle. Oh, these people really do the Sargon shit, like, insanely well. It's just simply true because it is.
But as obstacles to be destroyed.
Not true. How are they seen as obstacles to be destroyed? So first of all, biological differences don't inherently tie into aesthetic representation. Biological differences, the fact that people born with a certain set of chromosomes will have a penis and another set will have some...
Wait, are you saying that biological differences don't feed into how they physically manifest or how they physically appear? What?
Breasts and a vagine doesn't mean anything about their aesthetic representation at all. The only reason it does is not intrinsic to biology, but is intrinsic to societal conceptions that we have invented. We, as a society, because we live in one, have decided that this is how these people with these genitals or chromosomes, this is the way they're supposed to be expressing themselves. And that's the only way that's allowed. So because we invented that, and because we can see that there's a lot of negatives associated to forcing that onto people like society likes to do, we can also change that and make it so that people have more freedom to express themselves how they see fit. But if you're not for freedom, if you're not for personal liberty, then I can understand why you might be upset about that.
These natural differences are...
How are you losing against a straw man this badly? Holy shit. If only you had a brain.
Thus downplayed, and studios put ridiculous efforts into making female characters look and behave like their male counterparts.
And that's a problem how? So like I say, the amount of masculine women in media is infinitesimally small compared to the abundance, the absolute gourd of plenty, like the magician's infinite fucking box of overtly feminine and fetishistically feminized characters in media. So even though now, in the year of our...
Clearly, you're going to now give examples to prove why your belief is actually true. You're just not going to, you know, move on because by the grace of you actually saying it, have proven your point, right? Right? Again, I haven't watched this, so any bearing that my predictions have to reality are just simply due to my intuition being what it is.
Lord, 2020 to 2021, we are now seeing more media representing masculine women. Does not undo all of the shit we've already seen.
Meanwhile, this kind of feminist influence...
Wait, it doesn't undo all the shit that you've already seen? Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Also, yeah, I kind of called the not actually following it up with examples sort of thing, right? Who could have seen that coming, boys? Man, drunk me is a little on the intuition side. 1,000 brained IQ takes right here. I'm always right, lol. Yeah, I don't buy into this concept that, like, societal implications restrict liberty. Liberty and liberty restrictions are a lot more concrete and generally due to, like, overt actions rather than, like, collective unconsciousness of societal norms, you know what I mean?
Simply does not exist in anime studios, and that's played in
And that's a good thing to you? The fact that women, and especially little girls in anime, are overtly sexualized and their femininity is...
He never said that. What? Like, I think the only person that said sexual so far is you. Also, again, like, you have this, like, weird hang-up that, like, feminine things are inherently sexual in nature, which is really fucking weird. Not even weird just based off of the standards itself, but, like, I think by, like, their own values that would be considered weird, right? And you also have to tie in, like, femininity to sexual stuff, which kind of doesn't work for this, like, abstract gender thing that they probably believe in. So, like, on its face, their ideology sort of is at odds with their critique of this video. At least, I would imagine so, anyway. I'm not insane, so maybe not.
It's fetishized to the point where it's borderline criminal in a lot of cases, especially with underage depictions. That's a good thing to you? Curious. Very curious.
Like... I'm part of the anti-pedophile action, and I don't like you. So what does that mean? Yeah, exactly. Curious. Holy shit. This person's actually insane. Paxtube was just being nice. This guy just actively called you a pedophile. Holy fuck. What the fuck is wrong with this person? This person's literally insane.
So it's clear that the physical appearance of anime girls is a main factor that makes them popular in the current West. But I will submit to you that there is an even greater factor at play that goes far deeper than physical appearance.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna take a swig before this one.
Oh, gosh damn it. That's so fucking gross, dude.
Let's look at how Maki from the anime Love Lab responds to receiving a compliment from a boy.
You think you can get away with mocking people just because you're a little cute? What's with that reaction? That is all kinds of weird. That's the first time a boy's ever called me cute. This is an
That's really adorable. That's really fucking adorable. Holy shit.
exceptionally exaggerated reaction. This is not often something that will happen in real life. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but anime isn't real life. Because it's animation and because it's media, the people making these productions will be hyperbolic and go over the top because they can, because it is more interesting to the viewer. But it is not a one-to-one representation to real life.
He didn't say that it was. Again,
Take note of the
who the fuck are you arguing with?
This leads into the point. Anime girls
Oh, the point. We're getting to a point here. Anime girls are
liked because of their virtuous and feminine personality traits.
No, they're not. If you're gonna use this as an example,
I would argue that. I would argue that. There's a reason why generally anime protagonists will never actually like kiss their love interest. You might have noticed this a lot.
You like this anime character because she appears weak. She appears demure. She appears at the mercy of the man that was currently talking to her in that way. Because she looks more likely to submit to your will. That is what you like about it, even if you're not going to admit that. And that is a massive, massive example of the fetishization.
Let's be real here. This person didn't go to college. This person is not a functioning member of society.
And sexualization of femininity that is completely negative.
Anime girls are liked because of their virtuous and feminine personality traits. A female character portraying bashfulness like this is common in anime, but
this person is never interfaced with an actual real-life woman.
What?
Never. I guarantee you.
What, like, where the fuck did that come from? Now I gotta make an unprovoked a personal attack on their character based off of the fact that I don't like them. This person has probably been pepper sprayed by a woman at least once in their life. Generally for like very kind of rapey behavior. See how not nice that is? It's very not nice. Don't do it.
You that. It has not happened. His mother didn't grow up with her. Only grew up with his dad. I'm telling you. Grandma, she's not in the picture. Never interfaced with an actual breathing woman before. The most that he gets is when he snuggles up to his 1,000-year-old lolly, Dakimakura. That's the only contact.
Again, calling him a pedophile. You've probably been the subject of a sexual harassment complaint at a workplace. You probably didn't actually do anything either. You probably just sort of autistically mumbled in the corner, but you probably, like, just creep the girls out with the mere presence. Like, again, it's very lame brain shit, but, like, every time the person does it, I'm just gonna do the same thing. This video is unhinged. They've, like, called this person a pedophile twice.
And interfacing he does with women.
All but extinct, and generally, these characters demonstrate attributes that make them ideal candidates for wives, including...
Oh, no! What are you talking about, man?
What?
Why is an ideal candidate for a wife something you're...
Does this Nibba have ADHD or some shit? Like, he was literally talking about the prominence of waifu culture, and then suddenly explains why they're called waifus. Like, I get, like, when you pause and you have to, like, give your transformative, like, brilliant commentary, brilliant, like, is very much in air quotes. You have to, like, add in details, but, like, don't do that if you can't keep track. I'm drunk, and I was able to keep track of the fact that he was talking about waifus. How retarded are you, fam? Holy shit.
You're looking for in the depiction of women and girls in media. Now, I can understand being an adult and finding an adult in media attractive. This is a pretty universal concept, but I am under no illusions that I'll ever be able to have a wife that is one of these characters.
Modesty.
If it's not too
No,
late, will
you
you
would
do
look
song
for
requests?
character traits that embody those things that you find ideal, especially in a, like, a romantic partner.
And a positive view of marriage and children. It's
A positive view of marriage and children. When I think of a woman whom I am very attracted to, I find women and femininity in a general sense very attractive. And I'm not ever thinking about, oh, this person, do they have a positive view of marriage or children? Because I don't see the women that I'm attracted to as an object to be conquered. And
This person was talking about the effects that media can have on social perception, and also how they might influence, like, the populace at large and why that's a good thing, but can't, like, conceptualize why people might be doing that in Japan with media and why he might be talking about that. So goes on, like, autistic tangents that say this person just, like, wants to conquer women and make them their, like, rape concubines or some shit.
and own. That's not what I'm doing. When I think about, oh wow, that's a pretty woman. Maybe I could talk to her, become friends, and maybe more than that later on. But maybe I'm just built differently. Not an anime viewer, but something tells me this guy's examples are a little generalized and cherry-picked. Yes, but not in total. Because
I mean, at least cherry picking is a lot better than just, like, fighting with a straw man and declaring victory when you kind of lose already from that.
fortunately, the fetishization of femininity and women is rampant in not only across the world, divorced from media, but also in media and also in anime. So there's a lot of examples
Again, just
to pick from.
saying,
Especially in the slice of life
you're not going to post the
some
examples,
characters
huh?
outright fantasize about marriage.
Aw.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having an interest in marriage and wanting that to be like one of your major life goals, is finding a person whom you connect with and love so much that you're willing to spend the rest of your life with them, and you're willing to put pen to paper, get the contract that says you're married, get the ring, do the whole ceremony. Nothing wrong with that. Unless you interpret it as, I now own my wife, which, I don't know, man. You haven't said it yet, but you're
When
kind
did
of
he
alluding
say
to
that?
it. It's a bit
What?
odd. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wait, what did he say that alluded to that? Holy shit. This person comes off as, like, extremely insecure and insincere.
Like, you'll notice that in a lot of overtly fetishized depictions of feminine characters and women in media, they're portrayed as, like, helpless. Like, they would literally
What?
starve and die if left to their own devices, and they require a man to be able to care for them, or else they will literally expire. And that's what these
Examples.
people want to be.
Examples.
Except these people, I would imagine this person who made this video can barely care for himself. Look at his fucking room. It's probably probably full of left.
Christ, holy shit. Please, for the love of God, retard. Provide examples for what you're saying. Holy fuck. It's so bad. It's so bad. This video just sucks so much so far. Why would you upload this, retard? Oh my gosh, you are dumb. Dum dum da dum 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 da dum dum. Listen, I'm drunk and I'm gonna be rambling, okay? That's what you tuned in for, boys. Based.
Over food boxes, mold, a bunch of cans, piss bottles, doesn't make his bed, clothes on the ground. Like, this man can't even own his own life, and yet he's trying to own somebody else's.
Versus room.
Characters are written this way.
Clean your room, bucko. You'll feel better, I guarantee it.
Intentionally, because not only do these virtues make them—
This person comes off as a person who lives in abject despair just due to the fact that they suck so much. I don't want to like get into like the projection thing, but this strikes me as a person who's fundamentally unhappy. They probably have like some sort of depressive issue, probably has very low ties to their family. If any at all, probably has resentment generally probably towards their mother. This is all speculation too, but I don't know. This strikes me as a fundamentally miserable person.
them good love interests, but they're also admirable traits in and of themselves. I've noticed that chastity in particular is a value that anime likes to highlight. This applies—
Except when they're sexualizing children, and also women.
No. Most manga, you'll rarely see, like, the characters actually kissing. It's a very common trait, especially with, like, romance series, to not actually engage in the nuptials or anything like that, you know what I mean?
Now, they use it as a fetish, almost. The way that chastity is brought up in a lot of anime is like, oh no, I want to be a virgin until I'm married, and you're kind of putting me in a position where that might not actually happen, and you might take my chastity and virginity away from— It's usually in that kind of a way, which is, once again, the fetishization of women and femininity in an incredibly negative context. I don't know, man. Little sussy-wussy.
Importantly, even female
What's
protagonists
sussy?
that are designed in a sexualized way are written carefully to have these virtues.
Yeah.
I may not be a fan of some of these designs because they stride the line towards sexploitation, but they're—
I would ask you to pause Paxtube.
This like autism of like trying to be like all super serious and talk to the camera, like, fam, holy shit, please, you're really not funny. You're really only interesting as a means in which to like laugh at a retard. A trained monkey could do this.
Take a moment to reflect, look in a mirror, and kind of analyze the way that you engage with this media, given all of the things you've said so far. But I'm relatively certain you don't own a mirror for fear of the financial repercussion of having to continually replace it when it breaks. So maybe I just shouldn't have said anything.
As one example of this—
Yeah, I'm sorry, fam. You're kind of a dog of a human being. Like a very rough-looking person. Oh, I envy the blind.
in the anime Overlord, the character Albedo is revealed to be a virgin, despite her sexualized appearance.
That's crazy. It's almost like people who are virgins are allowed to portray themselves sexually. It's almost like asexual people still like to look sexy, to be hot. Does this person think that
Nibba, no, the joke is that she's like a fucking lustful succubus, but she's never actually had sex.
Asexual people are all ugly and don't put any care into
Yeah, this
their
person has
appearance? Guarantee
ADHD.
it's not the case.
This person has really bad ADHD, I hope, anyway.
It's a rarity to hear a character say something like this outside.
Wait, I'm sorry I don't have any experience with men.
It's a rarity to hear a character say something like this.
No, I mean, it kind of is, especially since, like, it's more of the joke, though. I think Pax missed the joke, but I don't know if it's really well portrayed in the anime because I read the novels, too. The context of this is that Albedo, has, like, the ability to summon a bicorn that she can ride. However, like, in the, like, lore, bicorns are not able to be ridden by pure maidens, and it's the joke that Albedo's never actually had sex, even though she's a succubus. It's kind of a funny joke, though. BPD and ecstasy,
Now,
conceited with low self-esteem.
Contrast to not only Western media, but Western society itself.
Okay.
Currently in the West, values like modesty, chastity, and romantic exclusivity are increasingly treated as unnecessary or antiquated.
Even if that were the case, the status quo currently, in spite of those terrible forces trying to force more individual liberty onto the feminine people of this...
He didn't say that. You're arguing against an argument that doesn't exist.
Country. In spite of that absolute tidal wave, that media onslaught, it is still the status quo that women and feminine people are expected to be modest, are expected to be demure, are expected to represent themselves exactly the way that you like them to be represented, given everything you've said in this video.
Let's
and
go.
it is simply media depictions of people that go outside of those very strict bounds you'd like to keep them in that are making you mad. For every masculine woman you'll find out there, it's almost like a shiny Pokemon in the States. Like, this is not going to affect your personal life, especially not for Paxtube, considering he's not going to be interfacing with any women, but in a general sense, for the standard viewer, it's not going to affect your personal life. For every masculine woman out there, there is still going to be maybe double, triple, quadruple the amount of feminine women. Not only women who society has pushed on them to be super feminine, and that's why they're feminine in part, but also women who
God, they love to repeat themselves. Holy shit.
God-given right to do so, brother man. It's not gonna be a problem.
What's with the fucking southern accent?
This is in spite of the fact that most research shows that these things
was
are
that a
critical
bit?
to developing healthy long-term relationships. A 2019 research...
I'll give you a shocking idea. People can exist without ever wanting to be in a romantic or sexual engagement with another person, and society is not gonna fall apart. Because for every aromantic, asexual person out there, there will still be breeders out there pumping out more humans.
Research report from the Institute
That's
of Family
such a fucking
Studies
vulgar
found
way
that
to put it.
traditionally minded and religious couples reported the highest level of relationship quality and sexual satisfaction. Other research has shown that women who engage in promiscuous sex are more likely to have failed marriages, more likely to become single mothers, more likely to get an abortion, and less likely to report personal happiness than women who had 0 sexual partners prior to being married.
Oh god, how are you gonna rationalize this one? Probably just, I'm gonna guess, discredit the study because you don't like the group that made it. Go.
It's almost like the fact that you may have sex increases, in a general sense, increases the fact that you might be the father or mother to a child at some point. Or get an abortion if you're not ready to become one. Everybody, not just women, have to deal with this. Now, women have to be the ones to be the incubator for the child, but this is not unique to the concept that you're trying to talk about. This will happen regardless.
Damn, I didn't predict just not actually engage and try to gloss over it. Why would you keep this in? That's embarrassing.
Regardless of societal expectation or ideas or doctrine or ideology, simply because of the mechanics of how sex works. But I suppose I wouldn't expect this person to understand how sex works.
It truthfully turns out that the sexual revolution and free love were an utter disaster.
You think
But
so?
in spite of this, most of Western society continues to double down on normalizing promiscuity. Fortunately, though, things aren't all bad just yet, as surveys do show that people say that those with more than 2 past sexual partners are undesirable for long-term relationships.
That can change, by the way.
Roasties BTF fucking owed.
The more society moves toward being more accepting of people just being in more engagements than just saving themselves for marriage, the more that this will go down. I would imagine the primary reason why this survey data that has not yet been cited, I don't know if it will be after I unpause, the reason why this is a statistic that we're citing here is because of the society we've built. We can change that. We can stop forcing upon people to live a certain way.
But we've already explained that it seems to lead to undesirable outcomes when it comes to personal happiness, so why would we do that?
And as soon as we unshackle people from this regressive ideology and allow them to be more free and express more liberty in their lives, the less and less this will become a problem.
The problem is that Americans report having between
It can change.
4 and 7 past sexual partners.
This guy's just mad that he hasn't had one yet. What a shame, Dan. This is a long way to tell me you've never felt the warm touch of a woman, my friend.
This created an extreme gap between the kind of person
And actually, I know I'm shitting on this guy a lot, and I think it's my God-given American right to do so, brother. But it actually does
you are
make sense
retarded,
to me
so
that there are men out there like this person who are very excited of the idea for women to be chaste, to be virgins, to not have had much past past sexual experience because they
God, the audio mixing these jump cuts is fucking rough. Holy fuck.
do not feel confident in their ability to match up to those people that that person had engagements with in the past. It is born out of insecurity. That is the main problem here, and that's what this whole rigmarole is going on about, and that's what it's trying to accomplish, is explain away my insecurity as Paxtube and enforce a way of life on women that allow me to no longer feel insecure, rather than exerting some personal responsibility and self-discipline. And
they strike me as a person who can really only conceptualize arguments in the form of, like, trying to force upon talking points to the person that they've already discredited. It strikes me as a very dumb person.
trying to better yourself, make yourself a better candidate for other people, even if they have more people to compare you against. Make yourself, you know, a more efficient human being, a more happy and productive person in your own life that will often make you more desirable. I'm just gonna force other people to do what I want.
Just acquire resources. That seems to be the #1 thing that women look for in partners.
So I don't have to do anything on my own. Because I'm insecure as hell as Paxtube, as a conservative, as a right-winger. I'm insecure in my ability to pleasure a woman. I'm insecure in my ability to match up against previous sexual partners.
This person is very insecure in their intellectual
capacity. The easiest way to get around that
capacity.
is to just
For
force
good
them
reason,
to not
too.
have those sexual partners.
People want a long-term relationship with, and the kind they can actually choose from. Furthermore, the average age people first report having sex is 17.
Damn.
Ugh,
I first had
gross.
sex, what? My freshman year of high school. How old are you then? 15?
Gross.
16? Something like that? I don't fucking know. I've been out of school for a long time. It was an interesting experience. And I don't know that it made me any worse of a person. I don't know.
Now add in the fact
That's-
that data shows marriage has a negative correlation with number of sex partners. That is, the more sex partners a person has, the less successful their marriage is likely to be.
Wonder what they might be. Are we given reasons as to why that is? Or are we just going to assume it's because of some turmoil that...
I mean, you've done nothing but assume, like, the reasons why things are the way they are, like, the entire time.
is involved with usually the woman having multiple sexual partners in the past rather than the man. I wonder why that would be. I could see trouble on the man's end insofar as he's insecure about his wife having multiple partners. I don't know. That data does nothing for me because we need to know why those people
I have a feeling
report less
Christian women would have a
marriage.
problem
It's
with
created a
men that
situation
have
where the average person
promiscuity
has to
issues,
choose
too.
between settling for a spouse with many past sexual partners, which they don't
Settling, by the way.
want,
Well, he's already established
Which
that
they
it's
don't want
undesirable.
in your estimation, as society has said they should be.
dropping
Well,
the
in
idea
the
of
study.
marriage entirely. A horrible situation through and
It
through.
is really funny too because like this person's main problem with all of this is that the stranglehold that men have had on regulating and controlling women, feminine people, and how they express themselves is slowly being loosened by like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. And even that is too much for this person. Even that is sending off alarm bells and hinting to this person that Western civilization is doomed. Just that super
No,
tiny
it's more than
sliver
just
where
that.
we're seeing gender non-conforming representations of women in media. That's enough for this people to be like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit, I can't own women as property anymore. This is fucked up. That's what people like
I don't
me,
think
men,
he's
have
making that
enjoyed
argument
since the dawn
either.
of time. And there's a little tiny crack in the wall that might easily just be filled in with toothpaste. And that's enough for me to be upset about it. That's enough for me to feel some type of way about it.
Meanwhile, rather than trying to reverse this, Western media has led the charge in exacerbating this crisis. Studio executives practically fall over themselves to put forward female characters that are sexually promiscuous and masculine.
By the way, men in media are almost always sexually promiscuous, by the way. It's so obviously
Probably
this
not
is
good
about
either.
anime girls, so I don't know if he's going to talk about men and how they're depicted in media. Men are often shown to be promiscuous and celebrated for doing so. Now,
good.
obviously, this guy doesn't understand that much outside of media depiction because he doesn't understand women outside of media depiction, and he also
What?
doesn't have enough experience as a man in that context in real life to understand what it is to be that way, to have multiple partners. So I don't know if he would have much to say about it, but...
Example, in the show Game of Thrones, nearly every single female character is written to either be involved in numerous sexual relationships or to have no interest in men whatsoever. Other shows that focus on teenage relationships are rife with premarital sex,
I actually don't know if that's actually true with Game of Thrones. I want to say that, like, actually all the characters are like that, right?
abortion, homosexuality, and marriage being treated as a backwards institution.
Like you played yourself, really. What do you expect a demographic to do after for the longest time they were subjugated, expected to be chaste, expected to be waiting for a man to find them and want to marry them in order to have sex, for criminalizing and making a legal abortion, how do you expect people who have been under the control of others and had their own personal liberty restricted for so long to act?
Christ, this person can argue against a non-existent person for fucking ever. Holy shit, that is... I mean, it's obnoxious, but it is impressive, I guess.
Act in a situation where they understand that it
God,
doesn't
and their
have
voice
to be that
is
way.
like
Obviously,
grating.
you're gonna
Ugh.
see people go to the other end of that spectrum, even in an extreme sense, where there are people who are very excited to be very promiscuous, have multiple sexual partners, be very loud
Cringe.
and excited and proud to represent themselves in sexual ways, to actually have freedom in their
Cringe.
lives and not be treated as pawns or toys for other people. As a person who very much values the freedom of the individual,
Oh my
I don't understand
God!
how you can have it.
Oh my fucking God! Stop fucking repeating yourself! You're so fucking boring! Gosh damn it! Holy fuck! Please, say something original! Please, I'm begging you! Please! This video sucks so much!
Any of these takes. I don't get it. But maybe that's just me.
So with both Western media and society increasingly abandoning both feminine and monogamous traits, anime has done the opposite. It's now effectively
True.
one of the last reliable places young men can look to find idealized female portrayals who would make good wives.
I'm a Japanese waifu.
Based.
Oh no, I gotta get my mail order wife. That's why I'm a libertarian guy with an Asian wife, because I have a fetish.
Finally, one thing that you actually said that's partially rooted in reality. The libertarian guy that wants a fucking Asian wife. Holy shit, we're 33 minutes into this video, and we finally got a actual thing that is slightly rooted in reality.
And not correct idea of how Japanese women in real life are, because the only engagement that I have with women, especially women from Japan, is anime, where they are highly sexualized and fetishized.
Thus, it shouldn't be surprising at all that it's garnered a large male audience. Now, a lot of anime fans...
like absolutely sexualizing and fetishizing femininity. You know, the things that men are taught to enjoy. No way they would flock to that kind of thing. But it's almost like men also enjoy representations of women in media that are overwhelmingly super feminine. Not these masculine cherry-picked pieces of media that are incredibly new and modern.
May recognize this fact implicitly, but not actually be cognizant of it.
What a fucking
There are,
loser.
after
Holy
all,
shit.
many anime fans who are degenerate, and I think part of the reason
This is the straw man that this person's been trying to argue with for the last, like, 33 minutes.
Really you, my friend, don't post your own L's. I don't know why you would do this to yourself.
people exist is because they were never able to recognize what makes anime girls unique in the first place. And while I'm sure someone can find exceptions to what I've said in this video, they are just that. Exceptions. To draw things to conclusion,
We're coping
the
hard
anime
right now.
industry produces some beautiful works that we as Westerners can learn from. None of this is to say that anime is perfect or that Japan is a perfect country. All things have their flaws. But what's clear here is that anime's female portrayals show feminine nature in a positive light that feminist media never can or will. In essence,
Translation. I got the incel dictionary out. Feminist media is actually giving representations of women being allowed to express themselves however they see fit as individuals.
This person can literally not stop repeating themselves. They've made this video, like, way longer than it needs to be. I guess because they need to say something, but they're unable to say anything except repeat themselves over and over and over and over and over again. It's really fucking insane. It's so fucking banal. Like, I don't know. This is what passes for entertainment for the lowest common denominator, I guess.
Individual free humans in society, and that is contrary to what I think should be the case, which is all women being weak, demure objects for men to conquer and own. That might sound like hyperbole, but I think I've substantiated that time and again in this video.
What have you substantiated? You've just, like, constantly made assertions and then provided no evidence to support those claims.
It exposes the current cultural crisis in the West in both media and public attitudes.
The crisis, dude. The crisis. Because 1% of all media is now depicting women as allowed to be androgynous, masculine, or just express their sexuality in still a feminine context. God damn, what a crisis, dude.
Has to look to a foreign medium to find virtuous female portrayal.
This is your average Hassan viewer.
I ultimately hope this video helps people see.
It certainly is a serious problem, where you have such a worldview that is so skewed, naive, and uneducated that you have to retreat to foreign media to get your preconceived notions of how women should be reaffirmed, even though you could literally find that from Western media. But hidden in here is also a fetishization of Asian people, of Asian women, of Japanese women. But we didn't get into that, I don't think.
Anime women don't look like Japanese women, though. What?
People turn their back on it. Now, there may be some things I forgot to mention, so feel
like the overt pedophilic tones of a lot of animation and the way they portray women and girls.
Free to leave your views in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing.
But we wouldn't bring that up as a negative. That would be super easy, too. In the context of this video, you could be like, so here's all this good shit that this person is saying that anime does for representations of women, but here's also a bad thing to make this kind of seem more balanced and more of like a centrist take. Like, the bad thing is that, oh, sometimes they go too far, especially when it comes to prepubescent, you know, girls. But we didn't do that. I don't know how much of a problem this guy has with that, actually. I'd be curious to know, but he didn't get into it, so.
Subscribing and clicking the notification bell, as it really helps me.
Yeah, fuck you, actually. I'm not doing that shit.
Fuck you, actually.
The fact that this has 68,000 views is absurd to me. Especially with this fucking subscriber count. Especially the absolute void that this video was. It had no useful information in it outside of my ability
stop being so hard of your video
in here into actual substantive critique. That's the only
Holy shit, I need to get the fucking meth this insane retard is smoking. Holy shit. Substantive critique. You said the same 5 things over 33 minutes, you fucking retard. What are you talking about?
Person says, anime feels like a glimpse of what life should be like. A lot of anime addicts are degenerates, but for me, watching anime really fuels my passion for life. The real world can just be too ugly to bear sometimes. It depends on what you like about the anime. There is a lot of anime that don't fall into these tropes that are intensely beautiful depictions of media. You have things like Howl's Moving Castle, for instance, which is a critique of war and the disaster that has been wrought upon our climate and world. That's an example where...
no. Howl's Moving Castle isn't one of the Miyazaki films that has an explicit environmental message. What you're thinking is Princess Mononoke or Spirited Away or some of the other ones, but I would definitely not say that there is a environmental angle to Howl's Moving Castle. Especially since, like, one of the main protagonists is a coal-eating fire demon, and he's, like, the good guy.
The film portrays women as being strong, as being independent and ability to care for others, even, which is not a subservient role. It's actually a dominant role. To care for other people. Those people literally require you to live. That's why you care for them. That's what women do.
Isn't like the main character of Howl's Moving Castle, doesn't she literally become Howl's like live-in maid, essentially?
For their children and their husbands. That's what this person wants them to do for, you know, the rest of their life with them, is to literally care for them because this man can't care for himself. You know, there's a lot of beautiful media
how is Miyazaki a lolicon?
But what we've decided to cite in this video is, oh, Japan has not, at least for the media this person consumes, stepped off from the fetishization of femininity and the idea that women are just objects for men to, you know,
this person has,
and that's a problem for him for some reason.
This video could have been condensed down to like 3 minutes.
Oh my god, I'm not reading all that shit. Sorry to hear that, or happy for you, but when a huge portion of your male population has to look at a foreign...
I love it when people write, like, super long-form comments. It's like, oh, wow, you put, like, a lot of effort into this. I'm glad that it was something I made like meant that much to you.
Medium to find virtuous female portrayals, that's a serious problem. Through the feminist gatekeepers of Western media would say, the serious problem here isn't that the plebs have to look elsewhere.
That's actually a good point. They accidentally just listed out motherly qualities. Fuck.
Is that they are able to look elsewhere and have success in finding such portrayals at all. It's much easier to serve up stale slop when the target has been heavily what the fuck are we talking about? Do you understand?
Yeah,
the
this person has
absolute breadth
ADHD.
of media that's out there? Maybe don't limit yourself to the things that you see advertised on TV. There are a lot of films out there that don't get the same airplay as your favorite.
They put in a lot of fucking effort to edit out all the, like, ums and ahs and shit like that. Holy fuck.
You know, Keanu Soy Chungus, Marvel, thanks for the gold, kind stranger, milady tip shit. Great video. Something I think you maybe could have talked about more is about how anime has plenty of examples of strong women, but doesn't make them overly masculine like Western movies. They don't do that either. What do you mean? What Western movies are making strong women overly masculine? There are strong women that are feminine in media.
What?
There are even overly masculine women in anime. What are you talking about?
What?
These people are incoherent. What a shame, man. This is simply true. I like women when they're being women. Yeah. And that's fine. You can select for women that are the way you like them to be, but you don't have to force everybody to be the way you want women to be. That's antithetical. That's authoritarian. That's totalitarian.
That's not authoritarian. It's not coming from, like, a direct mandate. Holy shit, fam.
To force other people to be how you want them to be? Crawl out of your own fucking asshole, man. The world doesn't revolve around you. The sun doesn't revolve around the earth. Anyway.
Yeah.
The irony of feminism is that it displays traditional feminine women as bad and tries hard to make women more like men. Basically, they're saying the men and masculine traits are better and that actually feminine and female traits are worse. No. The problem is that people like you, people that share your ideology, have overvalued extreme representations of femininity for women. Feminists are hoping to make it more equal so that women have more freedom and liberty to express themselves how they want to. So that women, while it's equal here, can still be feminine, even overtly so if they want to, but if they don't want to, they could be somewhere in the middle or on the other side in the masculine direction. That is the idea. We're trying to undo the garbage that you people have done. Absolute dog shit. These people are lost. Listen, Jordan B. Peterson wasn't good enough. Joe Rogan, not good enough. These dudes need a daddy. These dudes need to be the subjugated woman that they want their women to be. Because they need to be taught. They need somebody helping them live.
Okay, quick show of hands. Does this person have a barely disguised rape fetish? Press 1 if you think this person is just, like, kind of letting it out with the barely disguised weird rape fetish.
They need a caretaker. They need a dom to make them actually live lives where they aren't absolutely destitute and feeling like shit all the time because of the way they've allowed their tiny little brains to be warped by societal perceptions of how people should be. Unironically, these people need daddies. People always talk about, oh, these promiscuous women, these super sexual women, they just have daddy issues. My friend, you're lost. You probably can't even take care of yourself. Where the fuck is your dad?